Welcome to Sincerely Bhakti, episode 17, The Origination of Lust. Reading from the Bhagavad-gītā as it is, commentary by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, chapter 3, verse 37. So at this point in the Gita, Arjuna has asked his teacher, Krishna, a question. He asks, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? So verse 37 is Krishna's response to Arjuna's question. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion, and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring, sinful enemy of this world. So that is Krishna's response to Arjuna's question. It is lust only that compels people to make unwise choices against their better judgment that could condemn themselves, condemn their families, condemn everyone who surrounds them. It's lust. So what is lust? I looked up the definition of lust, and it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's defined as very strong sexual desire. So there's a significant phrase in Krishna's response to Arjuna, where he says, lust is born of contact with the material mode of passion. So lust isn't just a product of the mode of passion of this world. Something had to come in contact with the mode of passion to become transformed. So when I was looking up the word lust, I noticed that there were a lot of images and memes and articles written about lust, but always in conjunction with another word. So it was lust versus, just fill in that blank. It's so obvious. It's almost cliche. Lust versus love, right? It's so intuitive. Like anyone can understand that lust and love are almost, oh yes, maybe two sides of the same coin, or they're very connected, and are you in lust or are you in love? So anyone can understand there's some kind of connection here. And we can even understand that lust is a bit selfish, it's negative, and love is positive, it's selfless. But the articles I was just, grazing by, I saw that they were quite shallow. There wasn't a deeper understanding of the distinction between lust and love. So Srila Prabhupada offers some insight into where lust originates. He writes, when a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion. So the origination of lust is that eternal love for Krishna. It is the nature of the soul to love Krishna. So that tendency to lust has a divine origin. And, we're all looking for some place where we can place our love that's not shallow, that doesn't have some simple little distinction. We need someone to love who is pure, and we can truly trust and feel safe to love someone. And so the soul is never just, love and lust, these are just states of being. There's an action that accompanies each one of those words. So love is a verb, you could say lust is a verb, it's expressed. And so we each have minute and partial independence, and Srila Prabhupada emphasizes this. But so the difference, the word that's connected with love is this service attitude. So he writes, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, the living entity comes under the sway of lust. So that service attitude is truly what makes love selfless. And we get shades of it in this material world, such as a mother for the child, or if there's a healthy relationship between a husband and wife, that we can serve. But the ultimate object that our soul is truly longing to connect to is God, Krishna. So that service attitude, or bhakti, is the nature of the soul. But when it comes in contact with the mode of passion, then it becomes, I want to enjoy my senses, sense enjoyment. And I want to see something beautiful, taste something delicious, touch something fabulous. I do this every day. I do it all day long. So this is a form of lust. It's not sexual desire, but it's still sense enjoyment, which means I want to enjoy. I am in the center. And sexual desire that is really with me in the center is that I want to enjoy my sexual desires. And someone else, I'm going to use someone else so that I can satisfy my own propensity. So it's still an expression of lust. It's kind of secondary. But in that process of trying to satisfy my desires, I create a kind of hell. And it's even described in later verses. It's like this unquenchable fire. It's insatiable. And a word that hints at it in this verse is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. It just devours the self. Like my desires and the propensity to fulfill those desires just is so consuming. So, but at some point it's not satisfying to the soul. It just isn't. And so Prabhupada writes here that, when we get a little bit baffled by our desires to enjoy, then hopefully, we begin to inquire about our real position, because it's painful to be here, and it's painful to keep going and being disappointed by this world and asking those questions. Well, like, who am I meant to serve? Who am I meant to love? Who can I truly trust? And who can I put in the center who really deserves to be there? And these questions are the beginning of spiritual life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa means that now is the time to inquire about the spirit now. And asking these questions is truly what can start the process of transforming lust back into love. Because there's no way to destroy lust. Yes, it's described as an enemy, but you can't just slay lust. It doesn't work like that. And you can't erase the propensity for sense enjoyment. It's impossible. Why? Because the original nature of the soul is to love God. So if I tried to destroy lust, I would destroy my own nature. And if I destroyed the propensity for sense enjoyment, I would be destroying my service attitude. So it's not about erasing these things and just wanting total peace or oblivion. It's about uncovering all the layers that cover us and keep us from truly loving God and loving others with a pure and clean heart. There's some beautiful analogies that come in this chapter that Krishna describes how the living entity is like a fire covered by smoke, or, a fetus that's covered by the womb. So there's these understanding that the soul is simply covered, and it's about uncovering, rediscovering the true nature of the soul to love God. So lust is actually very powerful. The only evil you could say is this, misusing my independence just to satisfy myself. There's no external demon or evil or hell. The hell is created by the living entity. And in Prabhupada writes here that the Lord facilitates the living entity's desire to enjoy independently. God isn't going to force anybody to love him or serve him. Then we would just be machines. So he's like, all right, if you want to enjoy separately, here you go. Here's the material world. Here's the place where you can try and satisfy your desires, but you're on your own, kind of. I'm going to try and help you, but if that's what you want, here you go. So the true demon, the true evil is just our own desire to be separate from our own true nature. And so to actually come back to my nature. That is the goal of bhakti yoga, of learning how to love. So that is the origination of lust. And thank you for tuning in today, and I hope to see you next time. Hare Krishna.